X-Men Days of Future Past is the latest movie in the X-Men franchise that's not called Deadpool. It's kind of a sequel to X-Men First Class and a sequel to the original X-Men films. This movie is a merging of the cast between the prequel X-Men First Class and the original X-Men movies. Hugh Jackman, of course, is back as Wolverine, Patrick Stewart as Professor X, Ian McKellen as Magneto, and also First Class, James McAvoy as Professor X, and Michael Fassbender as Magneto. This movie is about the X-Men trying to prevent a kind of a mutant holocaust perpetuated by Bolivar Trask with his mutant exterminating Sentinels. The X-Men's only hope is to send Wolverine back in time to the 1970s to prevent Bolivar Trask from getting the one key factor he needs, Mystique. Because by getting Mystique, the Sentinels will be able to adapt to any mutant power. So, like, I don't know, if Iceman shoots a thing with ice, the guy will go fire. Okay, got it. This movie was kind of an attempt to fix the timeline discrepancies between the X-Men First Class and the original 3 X-Men movies, because there's certain things that don't line up chronologically. But this was kind of an attempt to clean, reset the timeline, and make everything kind of straighten out. And I'm actually a big fan of the X-Men franchise. There's a lot of people that hate them, but 5 out of 7 movies is really good. The other 2 suck, X-Men Last Stand and X-Men Origins Wolverine, but we don't have to talk about them anymore because this movie effectively erases them. My favorite of the franchise are X2, the first X-Men, and X-Men First Class. Those 3 perfectly encapsulate what I love about the X-Men. And Bryan Singer returned from the first 2 X-Men movies to direct this one after he kind of flopped with Superman Returns, which made me really, really hate him for a while. But he returns in this movie, and it's a really good choice bringing him back because he kind of set the tone for modern superhero movies with the first 2 X-Men movies. They're kind of more serious and more grounded. But X-Men, X2, and X-Men First Class really showcase what I love about the series. There's always cool action, there's great characters, there's great themes sprinkled throughout, but it doesn't get too overly dark or heavy in terms of its themes and presenting these superheroes in this world. Kind of like The Dark Knight did. I love The Dark Knight, but it's kind of overly serious. These movies have more of a perfect balance between fun and serious things. And the X-Men always really appealed to me because of their fundamental themes. Should we protect the people that hate or fear us? Why should we protect these people? Is Magneto right? Is Xavier right? Should humanity and mutants work together, or will one come out on top of the other? It's a really interesting theme to, in terms of comic books and to explore in these movies. So when I heard they were merging the original timeline with the First Class timeline, I was really very excited, plus the return of Bryan Singer, and this was my most anticipated movie of 2014. The movie really delivered on almost every front in terms of its story, characters, pacing, music. It's really the total package when it comes to a superhero movie. I love the tone it sets. It's a perfect balance between the serious and the lightheartedness, but in terms of its future, it's so bad, it's so grim, and I love it. But there's also a lot of comedic moments in it, and I feel like these movies are the perfect tone, because the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies can get a little too comedic and you don't really believe the drama. And this movie carries the tone throughout. You really feel the stakes involved. The cast of this movie is great. All of the characters returning slip right back into their roles. The original Professor X, Patrick Stewart, and Ian McKellen, they fit right back into the roles that made them superstars, really. And Hugh Jackman, of course, is great as Wolverine. He's the perfect Wolverine. I'm really gonna be sad when he goes. His last movie's next year. But I love him as Wolverine, and he works perfectly in this movie. He's not the focal point, it's more about Professor X and Magneto and their ideological differences. But he's more of a story catalyst. He's, guiding the audience through the story, through his actions. All the actors are great, of course. James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Hugh Jackman. The only down point is kind of Mystique, Jennifer Lawrence. She doesn't really fit the character, to be honest. I'm not a fan of her in this role, and the story focuses too much on her, and I feel like that's, a result of her becoming Hunger Games famous, and I wish they would recast her, and she looks worse in X-Men Apocalypse. This movie also has the best action in the series. The future scenes with them fighting the Sentinels are really well done. You finally see Iceman do his ice slide move, and it looks very cool. You get to see Colossus fighting a Sentinel, which is awesome. There's also a great scene with Quicksilver where it kind of follows him through his point of view and his time. Like you see things at his speed, but for everyone else it's slowed down, and his scene's the standout of the movie. The only down point I have is Mystique. Really, Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique. She seems like she's only there because she's contractually obligated. She doesn't really, feel like she's invested in her character at all. But otherwise, I really love this movie. It was one of my favorites of 2014. Also, another down point is that the future New Mutants like Bishop and Blink, they're not given a whole lot to do, really. They're just there for action set pieces. I wish they would expand on them more. Hopefully, if they do an X-Force movie or a New Mutants movie, they'll come back. So that's my review of Days of Future Past. On a scale of 1 to 3 claws, I'm going to give this movie 3 claws. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later. Bye.